anyways, it is time to go into the chunk zone.
So chunky.
All right, Brian, you wrote this chunk zone for us, but it's mostly Katie and I that will be discussing it. Would you like to introduce it for us?
Yeah, I'll introduce it for you guys. The big news. There's a lot of news that came out today, like lots of trailers. We didn't talk about the Marvels. Is that open up this weekend?
Yes, and I'm hoping to see it maybe Sunday.
Okay.
I actually
That will be
really
there.
love Captain Marvel.
So the
So I'll be
reviews
the
that
one
I
person
saw,
there.
the reviews so far that are coming in are like, this is actually a decent movie. But I wonder if the anticipation for the movie is not so high, because the last trailer I saw, they're like, watch as a secret comes out that will change the entire MCU. Like, oh, we really have to see this movie because this is
Like they haven't done that in almost, or tried to do that in every movie to grab us, you know?
Yeah, but I don't know. I think they're desperate. Like, they're talking about this movie's going to make $60 million this weekend, which would be the lowest MCU opening film in forever, you know? But I just, and then, also new today too, before we jump into the chunk, Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer coming out next month. We will see.
Nice. But that will be there.
That'll be huge. That'll be very huge, because I don't know.
I can hear the music playing in my head.
I don't know.
Now
There's
of
this
GTA.
game called Grand Theft Auto 5 that came out like 20 years ago.
Yeah, so
People
long
are still
ago.
playing it. All right, here we go. The chunk, though. So the other big news that I know all you Nintendo and Zelda nerds will love is that they are developing a live action Legend of Zelda.
Yo. The amount of people who sent me that link to the headline was astonishing, because I'm known as the Zelda girl. I mean, it's right behind me in my little square.
What are the pieces of the Triforce?
We have power, future,
Anchovies? Oh, sorry.
my
and in
Yes, Gas X.
I'm done for a third
Imagination.
time. I'm done for a third time.
imagination.
Continue, Brian.
Anyways, so it's officially in development, produced by Nintendo's Shigeru Miyamoto, and then Avi Arad, who's been around producing films, director Wes Ball to direct, and then Derek Connolly is going to be penning the script. Response from the Zelda community has been all over the place. So just a little bit, I just want to talk about, so for all you Zelda people, you guys are wondering like, oh my gosh, is this in good hands? Is our beloved Zelda going to be made by people who actually know what they're talking about? Because when I thought about it, I was like, is this going to end up like that one movie with those big green troll people in that game?
The World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft. Yeah. Is it going to end
Didn't
like
see
that? Where everybody was like, screw this noise, we're not watching this movie.
And it definitely cannot be given the Mario treatment. It's not a Mario type movie at all.
So is it gonna get like a Lord of the Rings treatment? Is where it's gonna be like
I don't want it to
very,
be.
very almost historical, very realistic, but it's still a fantasy.
No,
You know,
I
is it
hope
gonna get
not.
like a Princess Bride treatment? Is there gonna be talking? You know,
There's actually there's actually a lot of dialogue in Zelda games.
Yes, a lot of.
so you're gonna have to read subtitles, like.
Well, those are the older games, but you have in more recent games you do have cutscenes.
That's the thing. What is this movie going to? There.
I bet you, if I were gambling, it would be based of Ocarina of Time.
That's what I was gonna say. Ocarina of Time. Okay.
That's the N64 one?
Yes.
Right? Okay.
And I feel like it's one of the most beloved of the games, one of the most played of the games as well.
So you have the Zelda games from the NES. You have Ocarina of Time. I don't know, was there a Super Nintendo one?
Yeah, you had Link to the Past.
Link to the Past.
Well, you also had Majora's Mask and Wind Waker,
Twilight Princess.
So, like, say this was the first. If you were gonna make a movie, would you go Ocarina of Time as like this is the one that we make the first movie? Obviously, if it does well, there's sequels. There's trilogies, there's spin-offs, there's all that crap.
Right.
You know, streaming on HBO Max, whatever the heck it is. You know, so you're saying Ocarina of Time is not where you would go?
No, let's say it together. After 3, 1, 2, 3. Twilight Princess.
Okay.
The story is there.
It's so good.
But is that a good introductory to the character of Link and Zelda?
Ocarina of Time would be where you would start because you start as Kid Link.
And that's why I'm thinking it's gonna be that one. It just makes the most sense.
And it's iconic.
Yes. Like I said, it's one of the most popular ones. Most people played it. Most people our age grew up with that one. It's beloved. So,
but story-wise,
it's not.
Twilight Princess is even with the modern games, I would say story-wise, it's probably the best.
Yes, it's still the best.
So that's good to know. I think our Zelda fans out there will appreciate that, your guys' take on which one, you know, would. And then if you did Ocarina of Time, like if you were to take that video game story and put it into a movie, that'd be like a 2.5 hours, 2 hours.
You would probably even have to break it up into into part,
I don't know, because I feel like that movie, that video game is very straightforward. It's very plot, straight
driven.
Line, A to B,
It's think about it this way too. The video game movies are really taking off now.
Yes.
For the most part, they're really getting really popular. Mario movie obviously showed that the audiences will go see it. Now, I think our biggest critique of the Mario movie was that it was very uncluttered. It was like very sparse on plot. It was just boop 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 boop. Zelda, obviously, there's a lot of lore.
Right, and that's what
there's a lot of history.
That's what I'm going to bring up with Mario.
How deep do you get into a Zelda movie where people are not like exposition?
That's the thing. You could make the movie of a cinematic universe with Link easily because the timeline is there and there's so many different Links. You have Child Link who lives, and you have Child Link who dies.
Ooh. And you know what? If I'm just some random guy coming in, I don't want to know anything about
exactly.
that.
And so I hope they don't do that. For fans, they'd be like, yeah, lore, woohoo! But for the people like the Mario movie fans, you want Mario beats up Bowser, saves Princess Peach.
Or if you think about it this way, my husband, Wesley, he doesn't know anything about Zelda. Not one thing. He just watches me play it, but he doesn't understand what he's looking at. So what is he going to understand when he goes to a movie? Brian, why are you smiling like that?
Because I'm thinking about it too, and it's like, I don't know. It's just some guy in a green suit, kind of like Robin Hood or something. And he's
supposed
going
to look like Peter Pan.
There you go. He's going off on some journey, a quest to save some sleepy chick or something.
What?
Sleepy?
I don't know. So it's like, is it just like a quest movie? Is it a war film? Is it just? Yeah,
so
you wonder.
There are a lot of layers to Zelda. And I'm not trying to sound like a nerd, but I'll try to rope it in. So there are a lot of layers to all Zelda games. There are a lot of fetch quests. You have to go to... There's a lot of discovering new lands and new types of people. You have to defeat the bosses. There's a lot of that. But you also have a lot of story.
Mm-hmm.
And the story is what drives all the games. Unless you go back to the original Zelda game for the NES. It's more exploratory. And that's what Breath of the Wild was based off of, was that original NES game, just exploring and saying, what's over there, or what happens when I do this.
Way less story. There's characters, there's dialogue, you can talk to people. There is mostly just, oh no, the world was thrown into chaos and towns were destroyed from these, weapons of mass destruction because of the evilness of this one guy. And it's like, wow, okay. You could write that as a story and people who are not fans would still follow.
Okay. So I think that's interesting. There could be different views, different takes of it. It can go a lot of ways. So let's talk about the people who are going to be handling this. So we have Miyamoto, he's a Nintendo guy, so everybody he knows what it's about. He's the guy representing Nintendo.
Yeah.
This is his baby. He's gonna.
He did create The Legend of Zelda.
Okay, so
incredible.
So he's not effing around. This is his thing.
This is his child.
Yeah. So then we have Avi Arad, who a lot of the credits for Avi Arad are from the Marvel movies from the 90s, the 2000s. Before the actual MCU actually got created. So he did the Daredevil, Hulk, Punisher, Spider-Man 2, Elektra, Fantastic Four, X-Men The Last Stand, Ghost Rider, Bratz. Yeah, we got the producer of Bratz up in here.
Woo!
Ghost in the Shell, the one with Scarlett Johansson that nobody liked. Venom, Uncharted, another video game movie. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse. So he produced those films, and we all know those are amazing.
You have a lot of hit or misses in there. I'm sorry.
There are a lot of hit or misses. Some of those, for every Daredevil, Hulk, Punisher, you get a Spider-Man 2 or the Spider-Man, so it's all good. For every Bratz, Ghost Rider,
Uncharted,
you get a Venom.
Yeah.
That people like.
You have Across the Spider-Verse in there.
I feel a lot of these films are crowd pleasers.
Yeah.
So,
and that could work well in their favor, I guess, because
if you're looking at these movies, these are all big blockbuster films. Movies that have big budgets, have a lot of visuals, a lot of them are introducing characters like a superhero. So if you want to do that, maybe that's where you want to go to. Directing is Wes Ball, who did the Maze Runner films. Never seen one. Have you guys seen any of those?
I wanted to back in the day, but I never saw it.
And he just did the recent Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which is, I just saw the trailer for that come out this past week. It's the new Planet of the Apes film.
Those are so good. I'm sorry. They're so good.
Yeah, they're not bad.
I know a lot of people really don't like them, but I like them.
So you got a guy who's got some work with CGI, because this movie's always going to have to use that. And then, before we even we'll talk about that later, writing the film, and this is where I was like, good lord, what the heck? Is this the best that we can get to write these films? Like, this guy better be, because this is Derek Connolly, the guy that wrote Jurassic World 1, 2, and 3. Jurassic World 2 and 3 are horrible. The scripts are so bad. A 10-year-old child could write them. I'm not even joking. Monster Trucks? The writer of Monster Trucks.
I'm offended. This is so
okay. He did Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
Okay,
that was good. That was good.
It was an okay film.
But then, this kid, Derek Connolly, was the writer of Rise of Skywalker. And we all know how that turned out.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is Rise of Skywalker the most hated of all the Star Wars films? Prequels?
Probably.
Original trilogy and sequels?
Probably.
I think so.
I mean, at least,
of these new ones, yes.
What was the second one after The
Last
Force
Jedi.
Awakens?
No.
Yeah, The Last Jedi.
Was it The Last Jedi?
At least Last Jedi took some, was
creative liberties.
It was creative.
It was interesting to watch.
Rise of Skywalker was like goodness, man.
I don't know. Was Force Awakens actually as good as we thought it was, or was it just because
I love Force Awakens.
Yeah,
I love
but the thing about Force Awakens, it is literally A New Hope in sheep's clothes.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'm fine with that though.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Okay.
I'm
Just,
not a-
let's just call it what it is, but we like it.
yeah.
I don't like Last Jedi. I despise it, and I
You mean Rise of Skywalker?
and no, both of them.
Both of them.
Oh, okay.
Both of them.
Both of them.
Both of them.
I liked The Last Jedi.
I mean,
wasn't here for that.
look, I like them because I don't think there's a bad Star Wars movie, but they're not that great.
They find their place in this world.
Yeah, but it's like
Or another world.
you're telling me that there's a huge fandom of Zelda people out
Yeah.
there, thousands of them that love the crap out of these games.
Thousands.
That millions.
Better, more like it.
Millions and millions. And you're telling me you got the guy who directed Monster Trucks or wrote Monster Trucks and Rise of Skywalker, the most rushed Star Wars movie of all time?
Yeah.
That's the guy that's going to write this thing?
I will say this. Miyamoto will not let anything go through his hands that he does not want it. Want it to.
That's
you know
very
what I mean?
true.
You sure about that?
I am
true.
positive.
He is very particular.
He
about it.
okay, and I've listened to a lot of historical things with Nintendo, as far as video games getting developed. He will straight up scrap something that's been almost completed because nope, not what I wanted.
I feel like he's got a Stan Lee approach almost, okay? You have the man who created the MCU and all these beloved characters was there along the way of all of these movies to say, no, that's not canon to this character. And you can see how well those movies turned out. They did amazing. They were hits. They had everything in it. And I feel like, or at least I would hope, that a man who created this thing that is so beloved by many would say, nope, this cannot pass through. I don't care that you're the producer. I don't care that you're writing it. This is mine. You're going to treat it with the respect that it deserves.
Do you think that could be detrimental to the overall story?
No. Like it would hinder it?
Yes. Imagine if Pete Jackson's doing Lord of the Rings and Tolkien is still alive. And they're like, and Jackson's like, hey, Mr. Professor Tolkien, should I do this with the hobbits? And he'd be like, well, actually, no. And
no,
it's
because I feel like those men also speak in riddles almost. And this is something that has been talked about Miyamoto before. He will let people have creative liberties. He will. He's not the only person. He's the head, He's looking at everything, but he's got people under him who are also doing the head turning of other people. And he'll let them drive. He'll let them, but he'll also go my Padawan, are you sure that this is what you wanted to see? Let's maybe look at it through a different glass. Not saying a no, not saying do it this way, but maybe let's look at it differently. And he'll give them that option. And I've seen that in many interviews and many discussions and articles of him before, of people who have worked under him talking about him in that way. So I think that's a very Yoda. I feel like he's like a Yoda. He's giving wisdom into the people who are under him.
Which you can see because he actually gave up the reins of Zelda to Eiji Aonuma.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so Eiji Aonuma has been a part of, has been in charge of Zelda, I think since Ocarina of Time. And so you can see the differences in
He's been his Padawan. He's been learning underneath him, and Miyamoto was always his guidance counselor, I guess I would say.
yeah, and Eiji Aonuma asks for input. It's not just Shigeru saying no,
Yeah.
watching over his shoulder. Aonuma will go to him and say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And he'll give his input, and then Aonuma will go back and say, let's do this.
And I think that's what will make a successful movie in all of this, is if they can look at the guy, everybody's a working part, everybody's moving, but if they can look back to the guy and say, hey, can we get some advice? What do you think about this? You are the creator of this. Help us out. And take his opinions and his input and whatever with, respect, and treat it like, this was his child, so I need to take care of it properly. I don't know.
Then, before we wrap this up, so obviously this is going to be a live action film.
Don't say it.
Don't if the words Tom Holland come out of your mouth, I'm gonna slap you through my computer.
No, that's not. I mean, that might be a conversation.
No.
I saw somebody saying Chris Pratt is Ganondorf.
No, I think the conversation though for now is because when I was looking it up, I saw lots of the Zelda community just kind of all over the place with it. Some were like, yes, live action. Others were like, no, do an anime. Others were like, no, do a CGI film, animated film. Do a hand-drawn. Do serialized streaming 10-episode deal. You guys are obviously huge fans. We're getting a live action version. What would you guys prefer?
I would prefer one live action movie to see what they would do with it. And it would cost a lot of money. But that is opposed to having something streaming where you have to suffer through all of these episodes if they're really bad. And then
getting nothing from it.
Exactly.
It sucks.
Yeah, and then having that ruined, having it tainted. 3D animated, no, that seems like it should be done very far in the future. Because you have to handle the storytelling part first and see how audiences would handle it.
2D either. No. That's going to be really expensive. It would have to be like a Studio Ghibli-esque.
We're so in sync. I was just thinking that. Yeah.
So that would be a lot of work to do that. It would have to be Studio Ghibli-esque because there's so much detail in everything in the whole world of Zelda.
A lot of creatures.
Yes.
A lot of different species of a lot of just a lot of things.
Right. So that would cost a lot. And like Link has a lot of weapons that he uses. Are you going to incorporate that? Okay, then you have to showcase why he's using them. So, I don't know.
And you also have to take a step back and look at the characters. So Link is a very one-dimensional character, really.
Yeah.
Because he is a silent protagonist and you're controlling him and he's basically just swinging a sword at the end of the day. He's solving puzzles. But then you have these other characters that drive the plot around, especially Zelda. It's called The Legend of Zelda, but you barely see her. So how are you going to sell her?
Yeah.
You have to make a compelling character, and I think Ghibli would be the ones to do that.
So it's going to be a very delicate thing who knows when this movie's coming out? Who knows what story they're going to tell? Maybe they're going to tell a brand new story we haven't seen before. I doubt it, but what
dumb.
if they do? I don't know. It's just going to have to be taken care of delicately, just like how Mario was. They spot on did Mario, though. It was so A to B plot, very simple.
But that's what it needed.
And that's exactly what Mario games are. So if you're gonna do a Legend of Zelda game or movie, then you're gonna have to show what the game is. Which it could just be as streamlined as an A to B plot, because it's go here, gather these things, and then go fight Ganon. Boom.
Does Link have like a lot of companions on his journey, or is he kind of solo?
He has different companions in every game.
Okay.
And it's usually one companion.
Because then that's like, oh yeah, time for some sidekicks.
Like in Wind Waker, he had Tetra.
Yeah.
In Twilight Princess, he had Midna.
In Skyward Sword, he had Fi.
In
Ocarina of Time. Fairy.
Yeah. Hey! Listen!
So, you have a lot of different characters you could choose from. You have a lot of different games you can choose from. What story are you going to tell? I don't know. But Bump That will be there when it comes out. And we will either be pleasantly surprised or horribly shocked.
Horrified.
Yeah, I feel like those are the only things. We'll be like, wow, I'm pleasantly surprised. Or, oh my dear
Kill it with fire!
This was a horrible idea. They should have never done this. So Bump That will be there when that comes out. We just got the green light that it's happening. So there's no release date. There's nothing at all. I think, did they say Sony was behind this?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the only other information that we've got other than the directors and...
Which is kind of ironic, right?
Yeah, that
Sony
we had
doing
Illumination, and then now we have Sony.
Well, no. The irony is Sony owns PlayStation,
right? But they're also a movie company.
I
so.
know, but it's just
yeah.
Ooh, the irony,
which is totally fine because Sony's got some killer stuff. That they've come up with. So
looking at you, Spider-Man.
Yes, hopefully they can produce a really cool looking movie, but we'll just have to wait and see. And that, my friends, will conclude this week's episode of Bump That. There was so much news. There was so much good content. I love this portion of 2023 right now. This is it. This is the good stuff.
Yay!
So,
by the way, there was some... Oh, finally, I said this to you guys earlier. Finally, next week, Avatar is we're getting a trailer.
That was tomorrow.
No, it is tomorrow.
It is tomorrow. Yeah, okay. Trailer tomorrow.
Yeah.
There was a lot of news that came out today.
I know. That's why I'm like, whoa.
What happened today? Is there like some convention going on?
It's a day to celebrate.
That's why I'm exhausted.
Yeah. But anyways, we'll talk more at a different episode. It is late. Katie needs to get in bed. And so do we.
I do.
Anyways, we've got Brian in this corner.
Till tomorrow, Avatar fans.
We've got KT in this corner.
Ah!
And I'm Miliana, your host. Remember to hit that subscribe button. Leave a like. Leave a comment. We love to read and see all of that stuff. And we will see you guys in next week's episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.